I haven't properly played Angry Birds in years. And somehow, after all this time, I'm back after the Angry Birds 3 movie and after the hype coming back. The last time I genuinely remember playing these games was around 2015. I was younger. I was around 8 years old. I was 8 years old that time. I was younger. The Angry Birds franchise was just everyone else at these games, was just something that would casually open whatever. I had nothing else to do. But not just that, I was really addicting to the story, and it was 1 year before the Angry Birds movie first, and now we got the third movie 10 years later because it's 2026, I'm older, I've been making content for years, I play 100 different games, I spend ridiculous amount of time chasing platinums and complete story mode games recently, lately, right now, and somehow I was just going back to Angry Birds. But this time, I don't really want to just play it, but I do really want to see how much I can actually complete, because when I was playing back in 2015, I wasn't really thinking about completing the games. I wasn't even thinking about getting a single star of a level, but I was definitely thinking about going back over 10 years later, turning this into a video. So I was just playing with birds, and today I'm going back to where a huge part of my game memory started, and I'm going to find out what really happened when the 2015 me meets 2026 me. And before the video starts, I want to help me reach out 5k or 10k subscribers before the end of 2026 and help me to reach 50k followers across platforms before the end of 2026 or before GTA 6. I can serve for more. Let's go all the way back in 2015. Angry Birds was basically impossible to avoid because you had original Angry Birds classics, real Star Wars seasons, and so many other versions that generally feel like the franchise was just everyone else. And for me, Angry Birds was just another mobile game like it was nowadays, it is today. It was one of those games that I just can't pick up and play without thinking too much about it. You just launch a bird and destroy pigs, and you just get really started and you just move on. This is just really simple, because at least that's what you thought back then, because when you're really younger, of course you don't necessarily think how complete this a file is. You just want to play what level you feel like playing right now, or you might get 1 star or you get 3 and you completely fail and throw your phone down. Then you come back 5 minutes later and try again. That's how I really remembered playing Angry Birds from back then. Oh my god, finally, bro. Oh my god, bro. Let's go like the second try, bro. Like second, third time. Wait, is it second try or third time, bro? Oh my god, finally did it, bro. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, let's go! Let's go, man! Let's go! Level 1 completed, bro. Let's go, bro! Oh, bro. Yeah, it's only my 3 stars, bro. But coming back from it now, yeah, I immediately noticed something. I was way less complete, I thought. That was level I had barely touched. There was some stars I never got, and some sections that truly appeared that I just skipped entirely. That's where the ideas for the video came from. I spent all these years becoming obsessed with completing games. Why not go back and finish one of the games that started off this? So I started with the obvious one, Angry Birds Classics, and this was the honest, weird, not just bad weird, but really nostalgic weird moments. I started playing and I just remembered how much simpler everything really just felt. That they had no giant open world, no battle passes like Fortnite, COD, and other battle royale games had. There was no 900 different menus like all of the new games that you see usually nowadays has. There was no massive skill tree, skill points, and that did not have any cinematic tutorials that just eventually just take you like a 1 hour. So it's basically just a bird versus pigs, and honestly I really missed that moments. And when I started getting deeper to the levels, that's when I remember something else. Angry Birds might look incredible simple, but simple as you could never see with those goofy physics, but getting the perfect result is a completely different story. Getting through a level, it's not really that hard at all. Getting the stars you really want, it's where things that started getting annoying, to be honest. Yeah, it really does get annoying. You can destroy everything and somehow get 2 stars. You can barely destroy anything, suddenly the game gives you 3 freaking stars. Oh, yeah, that was kind of exaggerated, isn't it? Yeah, never mind. Then you had one level that you swear you did everything perfectly, and then the game basically looks at you and says, nah, I'm not gonna send you any star levels. And then I replayed levels and replaying every single over again. I wasn't really casually playing Angry Birds at all anymore. I was grinding Angry Birds Just like back in 2015, I would never imagine saying this, but here I am in 2026, sitting there trying to perfect games in the levels and I haven't seriously touched in years later, and honestly, it was pretty fun, to be honest. And this is where the whole thing became way more interesting to me. I'm not the same person who played this game in 2015. Back then, if I couldn't even get a level right, I'll probably just move on. Now, I'm sitting there thinking, nah, I'm getting this level, I'm getting this other level. That's something I really noticed myself over the past few years. The game changed a lot, my interest changed, and the platforms really just moved on. Even the way I make content changed a lot. I went from actual gaming, then changed to SNG4 related, and then changed it to commentaries, and then changed to challenge, whatever. So I came back in Angry Birds Rio, or Rio, whatever you call it. This is just a Brazilian Angry Birds game. This one brought back even more memories. Rio, whatever you call them, was one of those Angry Birds games that felt different because of the movie crossover. This was the first movie crossover, by the way. You didn't just destroy pigs in the same shit as you used to do in other Angry Birds games. You eventually had the real characters, different environment, different mechanics, and your own progression. And honestly, I like the game still. There is one problem for this video. I can't probably make Rio into the same kind of full game completion project because the game is demonstration. It's not 100% complete. I'd rather not to play than pretend I'm going to give you some fake 100% Angry Birds Rio challenge. I'm going to leave Rio as part of the nostalgia trip. Whatever y'all ask me for it, just give me down 500 likes and I make Angry Birds Riot content, and let's just move on because this video isn't about pretending I complete every Angry Birds game I ever created. It brings us to the other major games I ever wanted to revisit. So let's move on to Angry Birds Star Wars 2. This game was a completely different experience because this was one of those games where I remember being fascinated by the crossover Angry Birds, but Star Wars. As a kid, that was basically the perfect combination, and coming back to it now, the nostalgia really hit something immediately. But once again, I wasn't satisfied with simply playing through the levels. I wanted to see how far I could actually push the completion, because Star Wars 2 has a lot more going than you might remember. Different levels with abilities, level layouts, and different ways to approach the same situation. And once you're trying to maximize your completion, you start looking at the game completely different instead. How the fuck do I beat this? And you start really just thinking about how do I beat this perfectly. That tiny little change makes a big difference. So here we go with the grind. This is where the grind started turning into actual challenge, because nostalgia is great actually. Yes, it is great though, until you realize you got a bunch of levels left. You're sitting there thinking, what the fuck did I decided to do this? But that's also the part I enjoy. The grind and the feeling of slowly watching completion percentage increase, going from I haven't played this game in, okay, I actually made some serious progress at all. Eventually start thinking about how old the game truly is, and you just playing the game and start thinking what year it came through. You try to beat the level to improve the score and to get the last star ever, but suddenly, yeah, I got sad news for you. It's 2026 and the party feels like, yeah, we back into 2015. No, not Angry Birds 2. I'm not saying you're back because of Angry Birds 2. Probably 2014. And what changed? What changed about Angry Birds? And honestly, returning to these games made me realize something. That gaming doesn't always have to be about the newest release. That sometimes there's something special about going backwards. And going back to the game you played when you were younger can almost feel like checking an old version of yourself. You remember what you liked, you remember what frustrated you, and you certainly do remember when you're obsessed with this game. Then you compare the person who you are now. So in my point, for me, Angry Birds was one of those games that I don't think 2015 me will ever believe that more than 10 years later I'll be making a video on a content creation talking about returning, trying to complete it properly. Honestly, it's what makes this challenge worth doing, because I'm not replaying Angry Birds but I'm finishing something I never finished back then. So after going back through Angry Birds Classic and spending time with Star Wars 2, I had one goal in my head: get as close to 100% as I possibly can. And every level completed felt like another little piece of the old game being checked off. It wasn't some insane modern AAA platinum with 18 hours of content. It wasn't brutally difficult Souls games like and it's not impossible competitive game, so of course you have to know about it. It is Angry Birds. That's really just exactly why I enjoy the game so much, because sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, sometimes you get challenged, sometimes you don't get challenged. It doesn't need to be hard as you haven't played. Sometimes the challenge is just simple. I'm going to finish what I just started. And to be honest, after all these years, that's what I wanted to do. So after coming back to Angry Birds in 2026, what I still say it is worth it. Honestly, in my point of vision, yeah, especially if you've grown up with these games, there's something incredible satisfying about returning to a game, a simple game you haven't touched in years, and realize that the game still holds you up the way you do not expect it. And Angry Birds Classic, it still has the ridiculously simple gameplay loops that makes you say one more level and then slowly being played for hours. The game is not even changed at all, even though Rovio has removed the game. Rovio, if you're watching this video, please bring it every Angry Birds game back. Oh my god, bro. And Star Wars still brought me back that feeling of playing crossover games that Fortnite did not even brought that in my life, or did he in the first chapter tweet. But as a kid, that really feel like the coolest thing ever in the entire world, besides Lego and Fortnite. And Rio still deserves its flowers, even though I can't turn it into the same full game completion project for this video. But the biggest thing I took away from this wasn't even the games. It was realizing how much has changed since 2015. I went from casually launching birds at peaks and to spending years trying to complete games and now making content about the entire experience. That's crazy to think about that. 2015 me started playing Angry Birds and 2026 me came to finish it. Maybe that's the real platinum mentality. It doesn't need to be how long it takes. If you never finish something, you can always come back. And if you actually enjoyed watching me go back to one of these games that really shaped and helped my childhood, damn, I need you to do something for me. Let's see if we can reach between this video at 500 likes or 1000 likes. Seriously, if this video reaches the range, I'm taking this as a sign that you guys actually want me to keep going those older games and turn it into proper 100% completion challenge. And if you want me to see me take that further beyond, join my Discord server, and we're building this community over there right now. And if you join early, you'll be able to get a foundation role before that for 10,000 members. And I'm not talking about joining where the server is already huge. I'm talking about the joining before that, because once we reach that point, so being one of the original people who was there before the beginning is going to mean a lot more to me. So if you really truly want to be honestly part of the community while it's still being built, the Discord link is in the description below. And if you want me to come back to another childhood game, complete 100% the hell out of it, leave the like button. 500 to 1000 likes, that's the challenge. You guys decide what I want to play next, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, bro.